All right, let's do a quick recap. We have users, we have articles, and each article belongs to a user. But next we want tags, and that's a little more tricky because a tag does not belong to an article. A tag could belong to many articles, and one article could belong to many tags. So in these situations, we set up a linking table to associate one article and one tag. So now I'd like to display each tag under an article. So have a look using our little demo project here. This is where we show an article. So let's load that view. And yeah, maybe right down here within a paragraph tag, what we could do is say, well, for each article's tags, let's display an anchor tag maybe. Keep it very simple. So we'll figure out the URL in just a moment, but to start, we'll display the tag's name. Okay, so if I come back to Firefox and refresh, I will now visit any article. And now at the very bottom, sure enough, we can see any tags that have been applied. Let's give it a little margin top. And I don't know the CSS for this project, so I'll just do it manually if you don't mind. There we go. All right, the next step, of course, is when I click on one of these anchor tags, it should show me only the articles that have that tag. Okay, well, let's think. We could do this in a number of ways. For example, I could link to /tags and then the name of the tag. So maybe if I did that URL, it would take me to a tags controller that would render a view. That's a very common approach. In fact, it's what I do for Laracast. But at least as a first step, why don't we link to the main article's endpoint, but we'll add to the query string, where I could say tag equals tag name. Okay, so now if I come back and refresh, and I scroll down, take a look at the link down here at the bottom left. You'll see now it links to the articles page, but it includes tag in the query string. Okay, and I'll show you a different way to write this in a moment. But now if I go to articles controller and I hit that index method, now we can determine, well, how do we fetch these articles? We could start by saying, well, if tag is in the request, and in this case it is, as part of the query string, well then in that case, the user probably only wants articles associated with that tag. So we could say, all right, well, we have our tag model. Let's filter it down to only the tag where the name is what's in the request. And we'll try to grab that first item there. And then from that point, think about it. We have a tag instance, right? So we only want to load the articles associated with that tag. Like so. So now if I return this and convert it to JSON, refresh, you'll see we only fetch the articles that have the Laravel tag. And in this case, that's one. Okay, so this would be one way to handle it. It's probably the easiest approach. Just be careful. It can get a little messier as your application and requirements grows. For example, if you have multiple filters and ways of fetching the data, it just starts to get a little sloppy. But at least this is a first stab at it. All right, but anyways, let's try it. So we will visit all articles. We'll click on a single article. We'll scroll down and view the tags for an article. And you can see now we only get one, and that's correct in this case. And in this case, these tags all are associated with that one article, but it is in fact working. If I remove the query string, it's back to fetching everything. So that's the trick. But what if we fetch a tag that has no articles associated with it? And in this case, that's true for personal. So what you might want to do is tweak your view. So here's the page for displaying all articles. And we could change this to a for else. So this is basically the same as for each, but it also includes an if statement. So if we have articles, then iterate over them and display this. Then we could say, well, if there are no articles using this empty tag, I could say no relevant articles yet. And there we go. That's how we could tweak it. So if I come back and refresh, there you go. But as long as we do have matching results, it'll work. Okay, finally, to finish up, if we show a specific article, you can prepare it like this, or you'll remember in your routes file that we added a name to each route. And if you'd like to stick to that, you could do it like this. Show the route for articles.index. So if we come back, sure enough, that'll create the correct link. But now we need to add the query string, and we can do that as the second argument, like this. Tag is tag name. And now if I come back and refresh, you'll see it does create the proper query string. and that will work as well.